Hello and welcome to our group presentation for our app DSwap. DSwap is a peer-to-peer social swapping app aimed at young people and works as a way of swapping items of clothing with other users. As a group, we wanted to create an app that would be beneficial to a user in a number of ways, providing them with the opportunity to both save the environment and the cash in their pockets, all from their phone. Users can access a general marketplace of items up for swaps and inspect the items to get details such as clothing condition. Users can also upload pictures to our database of items they would like to offer or barter in a trade, and if happy with the deal on the table, request a swap via our chat functionality. Just remember, before you give your old clothes the drop, check out our app and give it a swap. Here is the landing page for DSwap. From here, the user can log in or sign up and make an account if it's their first time using the app. Let's create a new user. Once we're signed in, we'll be taken to the home page for DSwap, where we can see all the items currently up for swapping between our users, similar to a marketplace. Users can scroll through items, and once they've found an item that has piqued their interest, they can inspect for further details. Inside this page, we can see which user this item belongs to, a better item image, and more details about the item itself. I can browse this page for each item to weigh up my options of what I'd like to trade. But a trade won't be any good if I have nothing to offer in return. And as we can see from our user page, we don't have many items to swap. Let's remedy that by adding an item to DSwap so we can begin swapping. From this page, a user can choose to upload a picture from their camera roll or take a picture at that moment. Once a picture has been took, new options will render on the page where we can add a detailed item description with text input and drop-down menus. Now the image has been added to our database and personal items will be shown on the user page ready for swapping. I'll now hand you over to Jack to explain the core DSwap process.
Hi, I'll take you through the swapping functionality of our app. First, I'll log in as myself. Once I've logged in, I'll be able to view the home page, and I will also be able to view my user page that lists all the items I have available for swapping. I can see the item Liam's just added, and I like this item. So I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to click Request to Swap. Once I click the button, this will load the chat between me and Liam, and I can send Liam a message notifying him that I would like to swap. The item that I have requested will also appear in the top left corner. Once I've sent my message, Liam will see in his message list a notification that I have sent a message and I would like to swap his item. We also have functionality to do multiple swaps at the same time. So if I click on the home page and click on another item, for example, this red dress, I can click Request to Swap here, and that will load a new chat with Angela. And similarly, I can send her a message that will notify her that I would like to swap. There's a button in the chat where the user can view the other user's items. So if Liam clicks this button and views my items, if there's something he likes, he can click Request to Swap, and this will load this item in the swap chat. The users can then discuss the swap, and when they're happy, they can click Agree Swap. The users will be notified that the swap won't be completed until they both send their item. So when they both click item sent, we will see swap agreed. The swap has now been completed, and we will be able to view the swap in the swap section of our app. I will now pass you over to Ed, who will talk about the technology we've used in our app.
We decided early on that we wanted to test ourselves and engage with as many new technologies as possible throughout this project. As DSwap is mainly aimed at younger people who are more likely to pick up a phone than turn on a computer, we decided that DSwap should be an app with the front end being built in React Native using Expo to make it work on both Android and iOS devices. To take images, we used React Native's image picker, which allowed us to ask permission to see a user's photo library or open their camera so they could take a picture of an item they wish to upload. We created our own chat room in React Native, storing the data on Firebase's Firestore. This is something I shall talk about more in a moment. We started our app with CSS, our aim to use simple and complementary colors to create a clean and clear user experience. When it came to testing our app and experimenting with the user experience, we used Android Studio, which gave us live feedback on how our app looked and ran, with clear errors to help us identify where bugs arose and how to fix them. For our backend, as users would be messaging and swapping in real time, it was critical that we had a backend storage which could be updated and read so that a user could see what another was doing at the same time. We also needed a database which could store all our images and user information securely. Originally, we had planned to build our own backend with Express, Postgres, and Socket. During our spiking phase, we discovered Firebase, which covered all our backend needs. With Firebase's authentication, we could create a secure user account with a unique ID for each user. We could store and get our images with Firebase's database. Most importantly, using Firebase's Firestore meant users could have real-time conversations and swap capabilities, a vital aspect of our app. Using Firebase and harnessing its features meant all our engines could be focused on functionality and creating a pleasant user experience. We also used the Lodash library to help create our swap functionality. I'll now pass you over to Angela, who will talk about the practices we used, the challenges we faced, and how we overcame them. Thank you.
There were initial challenges using React Native, Android Studio, and Firebase. As none of our group members is familiar with these technologies, to make sure we are working efficiently, we split it into pairs and started learning the front-end and back-end text separately at the same time. Once each pair got the basic functionalities to work, the pairs were regrouped to work on different components, with one person from front-end and one from back-end. In this way, we were able to learn from each other while working together. The camera and uploading image feature was our first challenge. We have never used React Native image picker before. We had to learn the life cycle of how the image picker and the Firebase would interact with each other. The next challenge we encountered was a messaging feature in our app. We struggled to fetch the correct info on chat rooms and chat history from Firestore. The logged-in user was seeing all the chat rooms that has been stored on our database. At the end, we were able to solve this by restructuring the database on Firestore and giving suitable field to the documents, so we can retrieve data efficiently and correctly. Another big challenge was to list correct info on users' swapped item list. As there are 2 users using the app in the swapping process, the code for listing swapped items will run multiple times and the list duplicated. We had to plan out the conditional logic carefully to recognize different users. At the same time, Git Merging version control was confusing at first and led to problems in the early days. Also, the remote working was slowing us down slightly, but we were able to overcome this as a team. Alongside our coding skills, we developed plenty of new skills during our project. We used Figma to plan out our project. Zoom, Slack, and Google Drive were used to help team members to communicate, having stand-ups and share ideas. We also developed skills to support pair and mob programming, including Git version control and using Kanban board. Overall, We are happy we could get a clean, easy-to-use, and functioning app working. Thank you for taking the time of listening to our presentation.